What is up, everybody? How is everybody doing today? And welcome back to another Flash Mini video on the channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over the craziest Gizmo tier list. I'm going to have each and every single hero and their best and worst Gizmos ranked from 1 to 8. We are leaving out Mucho Puncho in King Tower. Mucho Puncho just kind of is a, counter to, let's just say, a monk or a shield maiden or a countess. It's really situational, so I'm not going to leave it in this tier list because I don't think it should be ranked, as it is a situational Gizmo, and the King Tower as well. You need to be ahead to use it, so it's kind of wonky to put in a tier list. But let's just jump right into this tier list video. By the way, I do think King Tower is really good at countering a lot of Gizmos in the game. Archer Queen is going to be our first hero up here. We're going to go alphabetical in hero order, and we are going to have these Gizmos ranked 1 to 8. We are going to have Training Camp as the best Gizmo for Archer Queen. Pancaker is going to be second. Third is going to be Saint Mirror. Fourth is going to be Rocket. And then kind of after that, 5 to 8, not really necessary to get inside of a match with Archer Queen. That's going to be Wartooth, Elixir Collector. If you're really far ahead, you can get this, but don't really think it's not going to be great. Hot Pot and Sauna. You just really don't want these with Archer Queen. You want to make sure you put the pressure up. Saint Mirror is a good tank. Wartooth's a good tank. Rocket for the damage, Pancaker for the healing, plus the damage on your Archer Queen, and then Training Camp for the extra damage. It pretty much gives the old Archer Queen boast ability to the Archer Queen, so that's a huge advantage for the Archer Queen here. Next up, we're going to be going over to the Barbarian King. The Barbarian King, we are going to have the Pancaker as the best Gizmo for the Barbarian King. The reason by is because the Pancaker just is absolute value, healing up the Barbarian King, especially when it goes invincible. It can heal up the Barbarian King, plus the Barbarian King can heal himself, and you could be looking at a half-health Barbarian King after the invincibility, which is actually massive, and it just allows the Barbarian King to stay alive longer. Elixir Pump is also really good for the Barbarian King because you 2 Elixir flood a lot of people, so you can get out an Elixir Collector potentially round number 2. It's only second in the Gizmo tier list. If you're able to put it in round number 2 with Barbarian King, you're going to be able to pump up, you're going to be able to max out your minis very quickly, and you're going to be able to flood your opponent. Wartooth is really good for the Barbarian King as well, because the main thing about the Barbarian King is it wants to get off its super. You don't want to get slowed from Ice Wizards or anything like that. So with the Wartooth, yes, the Wartooth is a tank. You can put it all the way up in the front, and it can help your Barbarian King get off the supers and pump up your entire army. Then you got the Sauna as well. There's a lot of cheap little units here. You can get one eliminated Swordsman, one of the best minis in the game with the Sauna. You can eliminate your Swordsman. It can cop in the Sauna and then come out and do a ton of damage. Also with Archer as well, there's so much you can do. Hot Pot, not that great with Barbarian King. Rocket is okay with Barbarian King. Then you have Training Camp and you have Saint Mirror to round it out here for the Barbarian King. Countess is going to be our next hero here. Pancaker is the best Gizmo for the Countess because it heals up the Countess. And the thing is when the Countess jumps to a backline mini, as long as you don't have a minor, what's going to happen is the Countess is going to get healed up and do extra damage, and that's just massive value into backline to clear out everything that you really need to deal with. Then you also have Training Camp here. Training Camp is very good for the Countess because the Countess goes after the weakest enemy, and once that gets eliminated, it gets a boast, and then it gets +1, +2, +3, +4. It just stacks up in the round. Sona is also really good for the Countess because when the Countess gets eliminated or a cheaper mini up front, you can then get the Sona'd up either Countess or a mini and then actually do work. That's why the Sona is going to be pretty good with the Countess. Hot Pot is also going to be good with the Countess at number 4. The Potter does a lot of damage. It can clear up big boys that haven't been hit by the Countess because the Countess jumps to the weakest enemy. Next up is the Gizmo, or at number 5, it's going to be the Elixir Pump. Elixir Collector, unfortunately, just is only good if you can get it really at round number 2, maybe round number 3 if you win rounds 1 and 2, if you want to play super greedy and pump up to ensure a victory. Number 6, we're going to have Rocket. Not that great with Countess, but it's okay. Then you have Saint Mirror and Wartooth. These are really situational with Countess. But you know, Countess really doesn't need tanks because it's jumping all over the map. So you know, if you put a Saint Mirror or a War Toot and your Countess jumps away from it, you know, it's not really going to do too much. Next up, we are going to have the Monk. Monk is going to have the best Gizmo, as is Pancaker as well. You see a trend here as Pancaker being one of the best, probably, actually, it is the best Gizmo inside of Clash Mini. It just heals up the Monk, plus the Monk's boast ability heals it up. It's just so much healing on to the Monk. Then number 2, we're going to have the Rocket. Rocket is really good with Monk because Monk keeps on clearing out mini after mini, and then with the stun of the Rocket and the extra damage of the Rocket, it can clear out those swarmy backline troops like witches and all of the skeletons that are trying to flood your Monk. Training Camp is also really good with the Monk at number 3 because the Monk main thing is it doesn't want to get slowed down, it doesn't want to get stunned, it doesn't want to get knocked back, it just wants to keep on boasting and healing up and eliminating everything shot after shot. Then next up, we're going to have number 4. It is going to be Hot Pot. Hot Pot is going to be pretty decent with the Monk, but it's really not going to be that amazing because the Monk kind of just clears everything out and does a lot of damage as well, but it is another mini Monk that pops out, especially after the recent buffs. It definitely is stronger. Number 5, we're going to have Elixir Collector. This is if you are up 1-0 or 2-0, and you can get it in rounds 1 or rounds 2, and you just want to pump up. Not really the greatest option if you are down in the match. Number 6 is going to be Sona. Sona's pretty good with the Monk because you can clear out, let's just say you can put one of your weaker minis in the front lines, you can get it eliminated, you can get the Sona to come out and make sure that the Sona does work, or if they're clearing out your Monk super fast, and if they have a Saint Mirror or something like that, or even a Shield Maiden, you can Sona your Monk all the way back, and then it can come back into the fray. Number 7 is going to be Saint Mirror, and number 8 is going to be Training Camp. Not really necessary with the Monk. Maybe if you're playing Archer Queen, Saint Mirror would be good. It's very, very situational, but overall, I wouldn't get Saint Mirror unless you're playing versus an Archer Queen, really, if you have the Monk. Next up, we're going to be having the Royal Champion. Royal Champion is going to have Saint Mirror as the number 1 Gizmo, and you might be like, why? Or you might know why. The reason why is because it chips down enemy minis to a weak enough point to where the Royal Champion can potentially just shield after shield after shield and just continue to take down mini after mini. And that's why the resets on the Royal Champion, especially paired with the Saint Mirror, is why it's number 1 Gizmo for the Royal Champion. Hot Pot is going to be the second one for the Royal Champion here, and I guess a lot of people are like, why would you put Hot Pot here? And the reason why is because a Potter does come out, and the Potter goes to the front line, and if you place it correctly, your Royal Champion still will be in the back, it still will be the last mini eliminated, and you want Gizmos that get eliminated quickly with the Royal Champion, because the passive ability of the Royal Champion is invincibility. If it is the last unit onto the field, a Gizmo kind of counts as a unit, so it doesn't go invincible if there is a Gizmo. Number 3 is going to be War Toot. It's got 26 HP, the buff of HP. It's in the front lines. It's kind of just going to get taken out, surviving for as long as possible so that your Royal Champion can get some good damage off. It also stops some stuns as well, so it's pretty good for number 3. Number 4 is going to be Rocket. You want to get that extra damage, and it blows itself up, which means it clears out and then isn't in the fray at the end when the World Champion wants to use its invincibility as the last mini. Number 5 is going to be Pancaker. Pancaker's overall pretty good, but you got to put it kind of close to the front lines here, so it does get taken out before your Royal Champion. That's the risk reward here with the Pancaker. That's why it is number 5. Number 6 is going to be the Sona. Yes, the Sona is good. Yes, the Sona might Sona up one of your minis, but if you get caught in a situation where your Royal Champion gets knocked around a little bit and you just lose your Royal Champion before Sona pops out, or, you know, the Sona just doesn't get you too much value, that's why it's going to be at number 6. It's just really risky to play with the Royal Champion. Number 7 is going to be Elixir Pump. The reason why Elixir Pump is bad here is because, well, unless you're up 2-0, absolutely dominating, and you want to play it slow for some reason instead of just clearing out a 3-0 of your opponent, where Royal Champion thrives. It thrives in the early rounds when the 6 damage of the shield really, you know, just completely decimates your opponent. You know, you kind of got to play it in the back. You'd have to play it in the front a little bit here if you have Royal Champion, which means you're not going to get as many pumps, which means it's not going to be as valuable. Then we are going to have number 8. We are going to have the Training Camp. Training Camp is decent with Royal Champion, and maybe it shouldn't be number 8 because Royal Champion does well with the training camp. But the problem is if they have Clash ability minis, which are everywhere, or fishermen or bowlers and stuff like that, you're really susceptible to putting your Royal Champion in one of those 2 spots if you want to pick up a lot of value. So it is a little bit of greedy play, and you don't need to be greedy with Royal Champion. You just need to clear out your opponent as fast as possible. Next up, we are going to have the Skeleton King. Pancaker is going to be the number 1 Gizmo for the Skeleton King. The reason why is because the healing and the extra damage. It just keeps up your Skeleton King alive for longer. The longer your Skeleton King is alive for, the more souls it can get. The more souls it can get, the healthier it will be when it revives and then comes back and clears out your entire opponent's army. Wartoot is going to be the number 2 for the Skeleton King. The Skeleton King does not like to get knocked back. Also, you have, Magic Archer in this deck. You have a lot of Clash ability minis in this deck, and especially if they have Clash ability minis as well, Wartoot is going to slow them down and stop them. Skeleton King loves to just continue to clear out mini after mini of your opponent. Wartoot is actually pairs very, very well with the Skeleton King. I know this is probably a hot take putting Wartoot up so high with the Skeleton King. Maybe Rocket could be here, but I do like the Wartoot at number 2. Number 3 is going to be the Elixir Collector. Why is the Elixir Collector so high? Because if you can win round number 1 or round number 2 with the Skeleton King and you can get out your pump on round 2 or round 3, Skeleton King survives forever because it gets cleared out, then it comes back to life, which means your Elixir Collector is just going to keep on pumping during that time, really getting you a lot of an Elixir advantage and potentially winning you the match because of that. Number 4 is going to be Rocket. Like I said, this could be higher, it could be lower, really matchup dependent here. It's a solid overall Gizmo, especially with the Skeleton King. It slows things down, but the problem with the Rocket is with the Skeleton King is if it does so much damage that if it clears out the highest HP mini or whatever the Skeleton King is attacking, it's not going to allow the Skeleton King to get, let's just say, the souls that it needs to come back with a lot of HP because it's going to clear out the weak minis, and that's going to cause some problems. Sona is going to be next up here. Sona with the Magic Archer pretty much is what you're going to be doing. It's kind of a cheese strategy. Just have your Magic Archer just get eliminated right off the front. In the front lines, it's going to come back in the back and just try to clear out your opponent. But it is super risky because they will know exactly where your Magic Archer is going to go after it gets cleared out, because it's going to go to the Sona location. Training Camp is going to be number 6 with the Skeleton King. This is okay just because of the Magic Archer. Magic Archer Plus Training Camp is pretty good, especially when it gets value. So it's got the boast with extra speed, then it's got extra damage with Training Camp. It goes nuts, but it's still, hit or miss. Next up, we have the Hot Pot. So the Hot Pot is pretty good with the the Skeleton King, but the only problem with the Skeleton King and the Hot Pot is that it takes forever to come up, then it goes around, it hits it for 10 damage, it clears out minis so that the Skeleton King won't be able to clear out the lower HP mini, because 10 damage is pretty much going to clear out anything that it walks by, and normally the Skeleton King is attacking something in the front lines that the Hot Potter would be attacking. Number 8 is going to be the Saint Mirror. The Saint Mirror is very good. It knocks it knocks damage back into your opponents with the Reflect, but unless you're playing an Archer Queen, you really don't want Saint Mirror because it just doesn't pick up enough value with the Skeleton King. Next up, we are going to have the Shield Maiden. Pancaker is going to be your number 1 Gizmo for the Shield Maiden. The reason why is because the Pancaker healing the Shield Maiden is just absolute value. The healing onto your Shield Maiden is just huge as it continues to gain energy after energy, and that is really all you need in order to win in Clash Mini. Your Shield Maiden taunting up, your Healing Ranger healing up your Shield Maiden. It's a 1-2 punch made in heaven. All right, Sona's going to be number 2 with the Shield Maiden. You have a lot of weaker minis in the Shield Maiden deck, or you can put a weak mini up front to get cleared out. Let's just say your Dark Goblin or even your Healing Ranger. That's just crazy if it gets Sona'd all the way back to the back line and then completely clears out your enemy. That's why Sona's going to be number 2. Obviously, it's situational. If you're playing another Shield Maiden, you probably don't want to get Sona too much. But, everything is in the air as well. Like your mini P.E.K.K.A. could be really good. Sona'd, Sona is one of those gizmos that's hit or miss, but more likely it's going to be a hit with the Shield Maiden because the Shield Maiden can taunt everything off of your Soned Gizmo, sorry, your Soned Mini, and then your Soned Mini can clear out your entire opponent. War-Toot is going to be number 3. War-Toot is pretty good with the Shield Maiden. The Shield Maiden does not like to be slowed. It does not like to be stunned. It likes to just get off its super as fast as possible, especially with the help of the Healing Ranger. If the Healing Ranger doesn't get stunned or the Shield Maiden doesn't get stunned, it's going to heal up your Shield Maiden, and the Shield Maiden is going to be able to cast more and more shields off, winning you the match. Number 4 is going to be Elixir Collector. If you're up in round number 1 or up in round number 2, if you're and you can get a Elixir pump down, Shield Maiden and Dex are usually on the heavier side, so this could really help you push to the finish line to win in rounds 4 or rounds 5 with a super control-y Shield Maiden. I think this is number 4 if it is round number 2. If you can get it in, if you have to get it in round number 3, I think I would put it in number 5 or number 6 on the tier list. Number 5 is going to be Hot Pot. Hot Pot does very well. It pops out the Potter. The Potter does 10 damage, 8 damage, 6 damage, 4 damage, 2 damage to the opponent. Helps out your Shield Maiden, and it's pretty good support with the Shield Maiden taunting everything off of it. Rocket is going to be good for number 6, and the reason being is because most minis are going to be weaker because of the Shield Maiden taunt. Maybe the Rocket could be a little bit higher here. Maybe it could have been number 4. I put it as number 6 because I personally like playing super control-y with my Shield Maiden decks, but if they do have the Rocket, you know, you're going to need to find a way to move your minis away from your big beefy boys in the front lines. Saint Mirror is going to be number 7 for Shield Maiden, pretty much because it does the exact same thing that Shield Maiden does when it does the shield up. So it really, you know, you don't really need 2 things, but, you know, it could be used in very, very unique situations. Let's just say if they have a monk and you want to clear out their monk, but the problem is the moment you put it down, they're going to be able to kind of counter your Shield Maiden and your mirror, and then you're kind of in a situation where if they have a rocket or something else, they could hard counter you with the monk. So super situational here. It's kind of like a round 3 steal kind of play if you want to go 3-0 versus somebody, but other than that, I really wouldn't use a Saint Mirror. Training Camp is going to be number 8 for the Shield Maiden just because it does not pick up enough value. Really should never get it with the Shield Maiden. Next up, we are going to have the Wave Master as our last hero here. Pancaker is going to be the number 1 Gizmo for the Wave Master. Number 2 is going to be the Sona. The reason why number 1 is the Pancaker is because when the Wave Master stuns all of the opponent's minis and goes to the back of the board, hopefully, I mean, if they have a minor, it could come back to you. It will then get healed again by the Pancaker and just do a lot of damage to the enemy back line, and that is why Pancaker is the number 1 Gizmo for Wave Master and the number 1 Gizmo inside of the game. As you can see, there's just so many uses for it. Number 2 is going to be the Sona. Why is the Sona number 2 and the Pancaker number 1? Well, the Pancaker is number 1 because it could also heal the mini that the Wave Master throws, and the Valkyrie could do 2 damage, or the P.E.K.K.A. does an extra damage. But the Sona, if you throw a mini to the back line that you don't want, that gets eliminated after the shield gets popped, then it pops back into the Sona and then just clears out your opponent. That is massive value, and you can choose to throw it all the way to the back where you know all of their minis are pretty much going to be attacking it, or to the second row. It's going to get cleared out, and then it's going to come back, and that's why Sona is really, really good with the Wave Master, because you can pretty much choose what mini you want to get eliminated, and you can also keep that mini all the way to the back of your opponent, which means they're not going to be able to counter the Sona in that mini as well. The Elixir Collector is going to be the number 3 for Wave Master. Wave Master draws out matches, so if you're up, if you're 2-0 or you're 1-1, you know, or if you can get it in round number 2 and you win round number 1, Elixir Collector is just going to pump up crazily and get you a lot of value with the Wave Master. The Wave Master's kit is based on stuns, and the Elixir Collector kit is based on just drawing out the match. What draws out the match the most? Stuns and healing. Wave Master has both. Number 4, we're going to have the Hot Pot. The Hot Pot, the Potter comes out, it does a lot of damage, and it also protects your backline minis by clearing out miners and other things that come to the back line. It's a super solid Gizmo here, so it's going to be number 4. Number 5 is going to be Rocket. Rocket's going to get you good value with the Wave Master because it adds an additional stun, and it adds a lot of damage, especially after the Wave Master, you know, stuns everything and moves around. But a lot of people like to just spread their troops when they're playing versus Wave Master, so sometimes it doesn't pick up that much value at all. Number 6, we are going to have the Saint Mirror. Saint Mirror is okay-ish, but the problem is the Wave Master goes underneath, stuns, and retargets pretty much all of the minis away from your Saint Mirror. That's not going to be good value for you. Training Camp is going to be number 7. It's not that good with the Wave Master. The Wave Master's kit is stuns and everything like that. It's not about clearing out minis super fast. Number 8 is going to be the Wartoot. Wartoot would be really good against the Wave Master, but with the Wave Master, with his kit, with the stuns and everything like that, you really don't get the value of the Wartoot being such tanky. And the only reason why you'd ever get Wartoot with Wave Master is if you're playing versus another Wave Master and a bowler with a 3-star or a 3rd star and everything like that. But thank you guys so much for watching this Gizmo tier list video. I hope you guys can take this into your matches and kind of understand what gizmos you should be going for with each and every single hero. I put a lot of time into this video. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this Gizmo tier list more than if I was just to say S tier, B tier, C tier on each and every single gizmo. But thank you guys so much for watching this YouTube video. I love each and every single one of you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow.